It's Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and that means it's time for the Psychic Side here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network, Moonstruck TV, Enlightening TV, and a bunch of other places. We're still the number one psychic radio network on Earth. So we're delighted to have you here today on our program. Our program is about dispelling the skeptics. And so that's what we try to do, and try to get people to get in tune with their psychic abilities. And this month, because it's January, we're going around to many different psychics that I know, the great ones only. And we are talking to people that we respect a great deal, or I respect a great deal. There's a lot of them out there, but I have a chosen few this month. This month, I'm calling upon my friends and people I know to give me their predictions, and I'm holding mine back. If you want to hear my predictions, wait till the end of the month, or I'll be hopefully producing this YouTube. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to do that. But I did a YouTube with Anne-Marie Touchette. She was fantastic. But I've just been a little bit hesitant because one lady left the group after mine. but I want to introduce you today to Lana Johnson. She's a wonderful psychic medium. She lives in East Texas, and she's been doing this for quite a long time. And so I'd like to welcome Lana to our program. Hi, Lana. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. What I've been doing is I've been kind of turning the program over to people and letting them speak. And I can't tell you, I won't interrupt a little bit just to get some clarification. But I'd like to turn things over to you for the next 20, 25 minutes or so. And then I'm going to write it down, and this is going to be all on video. So I know that so we're going to hold you to it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to you. What do you see for this year, and what advice do you have for people? So I'm going to turn things over to you. Go ahead.
Well, this year it's going to be a hard year, I think. Even though in numerology it's an 8 year, so it should be about abundance, and I think it will be for some people. But I felt like the whole year would have warlike energy. Like everyone's going to be on heightened alert, And I keep hearing people talk about civil war, and I kind of feel like we're already in something like that. Not like what people think war is, but I do think that Texas, especially, and they have done some of this, change the laws and do some things that the federal government's not supporting. I think that will continue for the border. I think we have issues going on in the border, and I think that we're trying to stop some of that, and we're going to have a lot of that going on all year, especially our governor and going against some of the federal laws. And I do think that we're going to have issues with our schools being overcrowded this year, teacher shortages, stuff like that. I don't know about where y'all live, but the kids only go to school Monday through Thursday. They're off on Fridays, and the kids like it. I think it's great personally, but I think we're going to see a lot more of that, having more days off and stuff like that because of overcrowding and testing and just problems in the school regardless. I see lots of issues coming with people being on high alert, like they're worried and they're insecure, and they're just constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? So that creates a lot of social issues, a lot of problems, because then, if it just like if someone looks at you the wrong way, there's more negative energy coming that way. So I would tell people, stay calm this year. No matter what happens, let's just remember that we need to stay calm until we have all the facts and understand what's really going on. And so I do see, and I've said this for several years and it hadn't happened, but I'm seeing it this year, and that's them changing our money. And I've thought that they would change our money sooner, but I do see it this year. I went to get on Coinbase myself, and buy some money and take some money out, and they wouldn't let me do it till I bought the digital dollar, and that's the only way I could do it. So I do think that that's coming in, and people will have to be using the digital dollar to pay, some of their payments with, and it's going to eventually just change how we deal with money anyway. And I think that the politicians will use that uh, maybe for the election, and the fact that people can't get paid under the table. There won't be cash under the table. And so it sounds good, but then it's going to create more problems. And it's also going to be an easier way to trace money, how people spend it, what they do with it, that kind of thing. And I personally don't like the idea, but I think we're headed that way and I don't have a choice. And so, and it's going to be based on Bitcoin. Then I see the market going up and down. I don't really see it just plunging and falling, but I do think that people are going to lose a lot of money sometimes in some of their investments. And I see the market just being really high and low, high and low. And
Yeah, they call it volatile.
Yeah.
Volatile.
It is. It's going to be crazy this year. And just up and down, and we're not going to be able to do anything about it, right? So be careful with your investments. And I see people losing savings for some reason. I don't know why, but I kept feeling like, you remember when we had Enron, people lost a lot. And it's kind of that feel for me, like people's going to lose, some companies going under. And I felt like a lot of money was going to be lost. And so it's kind of like turning the wheel to some degree. A lot of people's going to lose some money. So then I see, I see the banking industry changing, and I've already seen it. So I was a banker for many, many years, and a lot of my friends who are bankers have gotten laid off this year. And I've had a lot of my clients have called me, their CEOs and CFOs, and they've all gotten laid off this year from big cushy jobs they've always had.
Yeah.
And
Capital One is closing all of their physical locations in this area, and they're going to ATMs. So,
and I see that going everywhere, and people don't know what to do. And you know how we always get the sign-on bonus, or we were getting sign-on bonuses for jobs. I think now they're going to offer you, instead of sign-on bonuses, they're going to offer you classes to keep up with technology, right? Because people's going to have to start learning how to keep up with all the technology coming in. AI has caused so many people to lose their jobs, and there's just lots of things happening. Banks are closing, stores are closing. I mean, I just read where one of the biggest food chains is kind of closing half their stores, right? And I do see a lot of that happening, and people not knowing what to do, what kind of work to do. But where I live in East Texas, and there's in Van, they have a little Facebook page, and we had a lot of snow and everything. And so, but people on there is like, can I help you? Does anyone needs this? And some people would post what they need, and 10 people was like, I'll bring it to you. And so that's what I see happening more than anything, is communities pulling together to help each other, and communities really coming together to make things happen. And we're going to have to do that. But I see that happening.
are we saying the economy is going to go down overall, or are we going to have a recession or anything like that?
Down. It's going. We're already in the recession, I think.
Recession. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going down. But at the same time, I see lots of people going to do well, right? But there was people in the Depression that did well. So it's like, it depends on what you do and how you do it. Don't panic. That's the number one thing we need to remember, is not just to panic. And I see them changing our tax laws. Lots of tax laws coming in. I see a lot of changes in that too. And social groups. And this was interesting because when I was meditating, I saw this a lot. People changing their religious point of view people changing their social points of view. They're really learning more spiritual ways to live, and you know, realizing they have to help each other in order to survive, and not being so focused on material things, kind of getting past
We're
that.
moving more towards spirituality, but not organized religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I see that. And I'll tell you something else I saw that I really liked. And remember the Beatles came in and everyone went crazy because like everyone loved them, no matter what age you were, right?
Mhm.
And they had a lot to talk about the social stuff going on. I think that's going to happen. I see a young group coming in and I see everyone loving them and them talking about the social things and, you know, and changing some of our values and our opinions too.
They're going to replace Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Well, she's a hot music person right now, and she's still young, at least to me.
But I do see some changes like that. I'm not a music person. I know who she is, but I don't know
Oh, you
any
don't
of
know Taylor Swift? Oh,
I don't know any of her music, but I know who she is. So if I see her, I'd probably know who she was. But
yeah.
um yeah, fundamental religion's changing way, going from one end to the other. Um I do see that people's talking more about ETs and aliens, and I think we're going to get a lot of stuff come out about that. And it was funny because I even wondered if it would be like conversations like this, but talking about different types of ETs, not talking about just is it possible, but yeah, they're possible. And there's this type and that type, and you know, watch out for this one, and this one's on your side, that kind of feel. Um, as far as the weather, I saw crazy patterns in the weather. I do think that there's going to be lots of earthquakes, and I saw one in California, or I felt like it was California. And I'd be curious if I saw two actually in the States that I was concerned about, California. And the other one I kind of worried about was northern. And I wondered if it would be over Washington and going up into Canada, maybe.
Well,
And
that's part of the Pacific Rim, isn't it? Where there's lots of volcanic.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah, that it's probably due. I mean, you know, because Japan and all of them, they're all on that kind of Pacific Rim of
yeah.
of these fault lines. So
Well, I don't know the fault lines, but I saw it going. It looked more up north, like between the U.S. and Canada for me.
mhm.
And I felt like that one was going to probably be really bad too. And I don't know. I hope none of them happen.
Yeah, of course.
I hope we can just skip all that.
Well,
But
there's wherever when they have a volcano erupt, there's usually an earthquake that follows it, or vice versa. And
right.
so it's very, very possible. Yes.
Now, I did see some interesting things. I'm looking at all my little notes here. Some of the one thing is that, well, you know what a spirit box is, right?
Spirit
And
box.
uh-huh. But I know I don't know him personally, but I know people who do. And there's a man in Arizona that's trying to get a patent for a telephone where you can call spirit, right? And so I just laughed when I first heard that, but I'm really thinking that that technology is coming in.
I'm going to lose my job.
That's what I'm thinking. Me too. We're both going to lose it. Yeah. Just pick up the phone and call mom, right? And I really think some kind of technology like that's coming in really strong and sooner than we think, where we'll be able to connect and people can no longer argue if it's possible, right? I see lots of young people really teaching spirituality in the world. And I saw someone sent me Matea, is that his name? I don't know his name, but he's a younger man, and he was really, really good. And I thought, oh, this is what I've been seeing. The younger ones coming in and really understanding the spirit realm. I mean, like being born with that understanding, right? And even my own grandkids, sometimes they're like, well, that's not nice, you know. And I just look at them because I'm seeing that they're more kinder, right? That some of the new generations more kinder, and it's almost like they understand technology when they're born, and they understand kindness, right? So I think that's good. I like that whole idea. And I don't see people getting married.
No, they're not getting married anymore.
I mean, they kind of quit getting married, but like literally, I kind of would be curious if there's it's going to end altogether. You know, like people just don't do it, or if they do, it's old school, right? And I see new laws about that too. You know, coming in partnership laws and things like that. Um, I do think these are exciting times, even though they're a little scary. You know, with because every day it's verge of war, right? And but I do think that there's some exciting times. There's lots of new possibilities. If you were to live in the 1900s and someone told you that you could drive a car, and especially one that looked like that new truck, Tesla's new truck, you would just shake your head and never think it could happen, right? And so it's kind of like that. I see lots of things coming in that will that we can't even fathom, but it's going to be really exciting to live through. And
That's the cyber truck.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I won't. I think that we have to look at the good things, right? Those are the fun things, and not get caught up in the politics of every day in the war, right? So don't let yourself get, caught up in all the negativity. You got to stay positive. But as for technology, this is the year we're going to see advancements beyond advancements. And I see lots of new cures coming in. I do think that they're going to find a cure for mental illness in some way, some capacity, maybe not all of mental illness, but the beginning. And I see
I'm going to be cured.
Maybe we all will, but I do see that there's going to be lots of cures for that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, well, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. And this is what I saw in my dream state, and it was so bizarre. But I mean, they're doing it really, but not like I saw. Now if your child's, they can still do surgery while you're pregnant, right? Sometimes. Yeah. And that's kind of what I saw, but I saw DNA testing while you were pregnant. And then if there was issues, they could go in there and change that DNA. And I don't think that's this year because I think that's way advanced, but I think we're headed that way. Right? And
I think we're going to have cloning, or is it already here? Or
no, cloning's already here.
Yeah.
I think it's already here. I have a friend and her son, I don't know what he does. He just says, I splash genes. So he does something, yeah, he does something with the genes, and I didn't ask because I don't want to know.
You people in East Texas, I tell you.
I think no, they're in California.
Oh, they're in California. Well, that explains it.
But I think sometimes I don't want to know. It's better just, not to know that kind of stuff. But I do see lots of cures for ADHD, anxiety, mental illness. And I also see a lot of health things coming in, like I heard it a few years ago about a med bed where you lay down and you be healed, right? And I didn't understand it then, still don't. But I do think that something like that's coming where we can, I don't see you laying down. I see you kind of walking between two things, and you just stand there between these two barriers, and healing takes place. And I thought, well, I need that now.
Yes. Well,
So,
I've said on the show several times, I do that cryotherapy, and you have to stand in a little box, and
hmm
it's like 200 degrees below zero for
hmm
minutes. And it's not the most pleasant thing, but afterwards you do get some benefit from it.
yeah.
So there's lots of new therapies out
No, my friends own that, but I won't get in it because I am too scared.
there. Well, it's a little uncomfortable for a bit, but it's just cold air blowing on you. That's
Yeah.
all.
Well, I already know this exists because I use it, but I do see more frequency machines coming in. Frequencies and things being healed with frequencies and those kind of things.
Like a
And
scalar technology and
uh
yeah, yeah.
and it's been here for a long time, right? But I see it getting way more advanced and being able to be, even though I think it works, I think it's going to really work better. Like it's just gonna explode in those areas.
Yeah, kind of like Star Trek when they get that little machine and it makes all that little noise and it scans the body and all that. So that's coming.
Yeah. So like if you just want to see the future, just look at that and the Jetsons and we've got it.
Very good. Very good.
That's true. Because
Yeah.
because I do think that our cars are going that way, you know,
Mhm.
the way we move and we travel and everything. I think it's all going that way.
Mhm.
When you
Well,
see the Tesla truck, you can't help but think that, right?
yeah, he came out today saying that if they don't give him more power, he's not going to bring all his new gadgets that he wants to Tesla. He's going to build them elsewhere. So we'll see. You know, he's got uh, Elon Musk has something in mind. So, Lana, we don't have too much time left, and I have to just talk to you a little or ask you about the elephant in the room, and that is the election. Do you have any opinions on that? And if you're not finished giving your predictions, that's fine. We want those. But if you have any thoughts about that, I know that everyone would like to hear them.
I do have thoughts on that. For some reason, I really think it's going to get delayed. And I don't see Trump winning and I don't see Biden winning. I think it's going to be someone we don't expect out of the blue, kind of. It's like, oh, you know, but I do think it will get postponed for some reason. I just don't see what that reason is. But I do think that and I think it's going to be from flares or astrological, but I do think that grid's going to get hit in parts of the whole world, not just us, but parts of the world will be in darkness for a few days, right? And that may send people into some kind of fear, and that could be happened around the election. I don't know. I just think it's going to get delayed. I see a lot of violence around it, lots of violence, lots of arguments and disagreements and problems. And I do think that it's unfortunate, but I think we're going to have to just, not be so fearful about it and just know it's going to work out. But for some reason, I just don't think it's going to happen when it's supposed to. I keep thinking it's going to get delayed. Something's going to make it have to be put off a little.
So, do you think maybe something like the mail-in ballots will have something to do with that, or some
I
uh,
don't, I
or
don't, I felt like it was going to be bigger than that. I
bigger?
do feel like it's bigger than that. And so I don't know why, but maybe it's because, there's no electrical stuff working. I don't know. And I
Hmm.
do think flares could be causing that, you know.
Okay. Okay. Well, very good. Well, that's great. It sounds like you're kind of in keeping with everybody else that has
I
this
know.
program, and even it's a preview of Anne Marie's uh, prediction. She even brought up the DNA, and that's going to be on the YouTube that I produced. But I don't know if you get into astrology at all. Do you do astrology at all?
No.
Okay. Well, we're getting ready to get into a big change with Pluto going into Aquarius, and
Mhm.
a lot of the things that you're talking are Aquarian like. and it's just like no marriage, or, bohemian lifestyles, things like that. I think we say different words that we are familiar with, but it's very similar ways of thinking. Not anybody, including myself, is a preview. I can't tell you who's going to be the next president because I see everybody's charts, and I see a lot of oddities here, things that you just don't normally see,
Right.
and so it's going to be a fascinating time. But the thing about psychics is I feel like we do have a little bit of an edge, and that's why people come to us, because a lot of times people come to us as people of last resort, and because they're at loose ends, they just can't see what's next, and we give them some insight. We give them a little bit of extra, you know, information that they might not have, because we're detached as well. We're detached from their problems. It's hard to detach completely from what we're experiencing, but it's one of the values of going to the psychic. So, Lana, we're getting ready to wrap up. Can you tell people how to reach you, and if you have any upcoming events or anything like that? We'd like to hear a little bit more about your work and about how people can get in touch with you for a reading.
Well, it's my website. It's lanathemedium.com, and all my information's on there. I have no upcoming events at the moment. I'm going to Arizona for the mineral show, the mineral and rock show. But yes, it's lanathemedium.com.
Well, very good. Well, very good. Well, we're delighted that you came on the program today. We're really happy that we got to hear what you have to say, and lots of interesting things, and lots of similarities. I know that I'm doing things on a regional basis, kind of the Texas area, Oklahoma area, and but it's interesting that there's that train of thought, that trend, so to speak. But that's about it for us today here on the Psychic Side. I'd like to remind you to go to miraclesofjoy.net. They're our sponsors, and use their promo code 0223 on their website and get a 25% discount. Like me on Facebook if you don't mind, and visit my website if you want to read. So that's it for us today here on the Psychic Side. I'm John Cappello, and come back next week when we'll have Mary Beth Wood. She's going to be our psychic guest. Take care. Bye-bye.